All right. Well, thank you for lending me your ears as we open up yet another episode of Owning the Goal, the podcast where we talk about how you lead, grow, and perform at your best, both in business and in life. I am your host, Brian McFarland, and I am so truly grateful to have you join us for another episode of Owning Your Goals, because success in sales is success in life, as we do say here on the show. And that was, forgive my very mediocre guitar playing, but an opening of the great Supertramp song, Give a Little Bit, which so many people have covered. The Goo Goo Dolls, most notably, is one of my favorite, but there's reggae versions and whatnot. So if you want to be in the giving spirit, especially if, like we're doing with today's episode, then go ahead and listen. So today, and always remember, please, it's so helpful to myself and our audience and listener base that you like, subscribe, and put automatic updates so you know when we're putting out new episodes, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Podcast Connect, Apple, iHeart, all of those platforms where we have Owning the Goal. And we keep contributing to our following. We also have a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page, an Instagram page, all the social media platforms that you could possibly be on. We're out there. So today, we are diving into one of the most important and impactful ideas that I personally have come across, the go-giver mindset. It's inspired by a series of books that have changed how I think about success, relationships, leadership, and even love. And while many of the items that I'm just going to relay here in this solo episode today will seem like masters of the obvious, I think one of the goals of the show is to remind myself and to hopefully remind you as a listener to how you can make this your best life ever, and all those people around you to make them the best that they can be. So I thank you once again for your time. So let's give you the value and let's give. Well, the Go-Giver series, holding up a copy of The Go-Giver. I have also The Go-Giver Sell More, and I'm just finished reading The Go-Giver Marriage, or though I'll call it The Go-Giver Soulmate. The series by Bob Berg and John David Mann includes the original Go-Giver, Go-Giver Leader, Go-Giver Influencer, Go-Giver Salesperson, and even the Go-Giver Marriage, as I just mentioned, each one that shares a timeless lesson through a story. These are fables, much like Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. Club, Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. They talk about success isn't about how much we get, it's about how much we give. And I can tell you personal experience, the amount of focus that I have on giving versus receiving or getting since my teens and 20s has taken a much better course in life through wisdom, because I finally realized it's not about me, it's about us all, and it's about you. And especially since you're listening to this show, it is about you. So today I want to share a few key lessons that stood out to me, and I put down in my notes in some ways that you can bring the Go-Giver principles into your business, your career, and your personal life. So let's start with the foundation, the initial book, The Go-Giver itself. What this book does is it introduces 5 simple but powerful laws of success, and they're all built around giving. They are, number 1, the law of value. Your, my, and everyone's true worth is determined by how much more we give in value than we take in payment, whatever that payment could be in your life. The law of value. Number 2, the law of compensation. Your income is actually determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Think about that. Your law of compensation, your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Your net worth is your net work, as I've heard many people say. Number 3, the law of influence. Your influence grows as you put other people's interests first. such basic concepts, but when you hear them, or at least when I heard them or I read them, there was so many aha moments about turning the story around, especially as a lifelong salesperson. But we're going to get into that. Number 4, the law of authenticity. The most valuable gift you have to offer is, guess what? Yourself. The most valuable gift you have to offer to the world. And every person, animal, plant, tree you come in contact with is, number 1, you. And number 5, the law of receptivity. The key to effective giving is to also stay open to receiving. So, an interesting full circle way in which the book and the ideas are presented, right? So, these all sound simple, but when you really, really, really live them, they can transform the way you approach your business and your relationships. I know it's worked for me. We're going to give you some thought starters in here. Well, I sip on my Ghost energy drink when I'm having the Welch's grape today. Highly recommend. So I've noticed that when I focus on serving first, and it's no surprise I grew up in the food service industry because it's all about serving, right? And focusing on adding instead of extracting, everything from your business deals to your friendships to your love life to your parenting life, it takes on a new energy. You stop competing and you start contributing. My goodness, why didn't I read these books when I was in my teenage years? Well, I've read them now in my 50s, and there's no time like the present to start any pivot that's going to make you the best version of yourself. So let's start first. In the Go-Giver Salesperson, this lesson really hit me. Sales isn't about pushing a product. It's about solving a problem and helping someone or some company or something get what they truly need. It's not about pushing a product. It's about solving a problem and helping someone get what they truly need. The best salespeople, and honestly, the best professionals in any field, think about them. They don't chase the sale. They chase the service because it's about solving that problem. When you walk into a meeting thinking, how can I help this person win? How can I help this person win? You start building trust, not just transactions. And when you build trust, everything else follows. I was for my new company, I was at my biggest sales presentation yesterday to 20 people. Thanks to all the folks up at Icon International and everyone up there. My good dear friend, Joanne Cancrow, Nikisha, Mitch, Colleen, countless number of people who were kind enough to give me their time. And I went up with my coach and colleague, Harmon, who helped me along the way for my company, Epsilon. And it was so rewarding to stand in front of those people and focus on what value we could provide them instead of selling them something, right? They all know we're coming in to sell them something, but we started the whole meeting off talking about what we can do for you. And I'd like to think we really had their attention. So it's not naive. It's just practical generosity. The idea that your business or your life thrives when you genuinely care about the people you serve. So I've been writing down notes from these books because they just really, an ingestion of just wisdom and positivity. So here's a challenge to you for this week. Think about one client, colleague, or partner you can help without expecting anything in return. Send them an idea, a compliment, a connection. Write them a postcard. I've got 21 postcards to write today. Something that adds value, and watch how that shifts the dynamic in that relationship. Write it down. Do it. You'll be glad you did. I promise. We'll move on. The Go-Giver Influencer and Go-Giver Leader, which I'm just getting into, they expand into the same theme. into leadership and collaboration. The lesson there is that influence isn't about authority, it's about empathy and compassion. Leadership isn't about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge. Think about that. It's not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in your charge. Think of all the great leaders that you've come across in your life, and I'm sure there's been many. Think about what made them great, and I know for me, when I thought about them, it was they were always giving me something. They weren't taking something from me. But in essence, because they gave me something, I was more than happy to give them everything that I have. So it's represented in these books and these readings. The Go-Giver approach reminds us that when we lead best, we lift others up. When we stop trying to be the hero or the heroine and instead become the guide. We don't need to be the hero, just become the guide. So another thought starter for you. Think about someone in your life right now, a teammate, a friend, a family member who could use a little encouragement. I can rattle off in my brain at least 5. And I'm going to write them postcards right after this recording. So one genuine word of belief from you could change their day, their confidence, and maybe even their direction. Think about that. One word, one compliment of belief from you could change their day, their confidence, maybe their direction. I remember when I read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of the chapters was every day give 3 meaningful and authentic compliments to everyone you engage with. My goodness, the smile, the engagement, the you just look radiant today, whatever it is. My cat Snowflake sitting over there and enjoying the episode too. She's a subscriber, and I hope you are too. All she wants is just a little encouragement and a little pet, and I change her day, and she changes mine equally back. And then we get on to something I've been discussing with my soulmate as of late, the Go-Giver marriage or the Go-Giver life partnership, which takes these ideas right into our personal lives. So that book reminds us that our relationships thrive. Sorry for the police here. We're always recording in New York City. The police are coming because we got so many good ideas, they just can't even handle it, right? But the book, I don't want to compete with the siren. Sorry about this. But the book reminds us that relationships thrive not on grand gestures, but on small, consistent acts of giving, of attention, kindness, and appreciation. I brought this anecdote up before, but for my life partner now and my children, whatnot, the simple gift of giving small little gifts, token things, but that mean something. I used to work with some gentlemen that would once a month or so, or once every couple of months, they'd get this big thing of flowers. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet of you. And they're like, well, I'm in big trouble at home, so I got to bring those. And I always thought that was kind of weird because you're kind of telegraphing that you believe you're in trouble. So at least I modeled mindset of the bodegas in New York City. You can get tulips for $5 or $6. It doesn't have to cost a lot, but just give them for no reason at all, just to tell someone that you care about them. Bring them to anyone, man or woman. It brightens someone's day, and I guarantee you they'll smile, because it's not about keeping score. It took me so long to learn this, but these books just so emphasize it. It's about pouring in, because when both people are focused on giving, everyone receives more. It's the simple 1 + 1 = 3. So I love the way that this connects all the books together, whether it's in business, leadership, marriage, relationships. The same principles hold true. When you give more than you expect, you get back more than you could possibly ever imagine. Okay, I'm with you, Brian, if you're staying with me at this 15th minute of the show. Well, so how do we put this into action? I know you're asking right now, because I'd be asking. Here are a few Go-Giver from the book inspired practices that you can start this very day, this very weekend, this very week. Give first. When you meet someone new, ask yourself, how can I add value to them right now? That is how I opened my presentation up yesterday. I said, we're not here to sell you something. We're here to best understand how we can provide value to you greater than you're potentially getting from anyone else that you're working or dealing with. And I'd like to say there was a big lean in at the table of, okay, you have my attention. Listen longer. Influence starts with understanding, and understanding starts with listening. One of the things I'm really trying to do in my life every single day is be a better listener. I remember the one quote, you can't learn anything while you're talking. You learn when we listen and take that data in. And right with that, be authentic. Don't try and be impressive. My gosh, so many people who, if you know me, going, when did you figure these things out, Brian? I'd like to see you now. But you're right. So many years of my life, I was trying to be impressive. I was trying to be the hero. I was trying to sell something. And I had it backwards, to be honest with you. And I'm so happy now to not have it backwards and to have it forwards. And every day, I do try and get better as I can possibly be. My God, the ideas are just flourishing out, so the police just keep coming by, but maybe they're saving people. So don't try and be impressive. Try to be real. People remember connections, not perfection. None of us are perfect, nor will we ever be. There's no such thing as practice makes perfect. We'll never be perfect, right? There's always one way we can get better. So be authentic. Express gratitude. Thank people for the small things. Gratitude multiplies goodwill. Express it and stay open to receiving. Giving and receiving are part of the same flow. If you are watching, you see me making a circle. If you're listening, see me making a circle. Let others give back to you. It completes the circle. I often prided myself on always try and be, I grew up in the food service business, so I always try and give. And I would almost hold people away from giving me anything back. Oh, no. But I have to let them do that because, as I learned from my life partner, Marisa Mitchell, early on in our relationship, it was about reciprocity, giving to each other and not just giving and then denying that person the opportunity to give back to you. So when you live this way, your world doesn't just grow bigger, it grows better. And that's sustainable. And that's what I will constantly seek for all the days I'm fortunate enough to be on this planet. So the go-giver mindset isn't just a feel-good philosophy. It's a practical strategy for building a life of purpose, trust, and abundance. If you focus on lifting others, your goals don't get smaller. They actually become easier to own. I love that. With the show Owning the Goal, if you focus on lifting others, your goals don't get smaller. They actually become easier to own. You own your goals because success isn't a zero-sum game. It's a shared experience. We all have equal rights on this planet, or we should have equal rights on this planet to experience some joy, success, love, all these things. So let's all join hands, if you will, in a kumbaya sort of way to share that experience. So with that, at the 20-minute mark, I'm trying to keep these shorter and digestible for you all. I thank you for spending the time with me today. I hope you'll pick up one of the Go-Giver books. I have no financial ties to the author, though I will send them these episodes, or revisit them if you already have, and let those ideas challenge and inspire you like they have me. Don't do it because I did it. Hopefully do it because you felt something through today's episode and it inspired you. I'm buying all my books on Amazon in actual copies of books. I do buy some on Audible. And I'm purposely buying the used versions, A, to save money, B, to recycle, right? There's no reason I need to make somebody print a new book. And also because someone who's read it, I do like the fact that it's kind of worn and maybe there's some lines underneath some key sentences that person took away from it. And I feel like I'm connected to the past person who read it before. So that being said, I want to thank you so very much as myself, Brian McFarland, and our show, Owning the Goal. Remember, the best way to own your goals is to help others achieve theirs. That is going to be the new way we sign off each and every show. The best way to own your goals is to help others achieve theirs. Stay tuned for more episodes. We're going to have David Berkowitz, our AI expert, back. Next week, we're going to have Andrew Barbuto, our sales expert, back. The following week, I'll be on with Marisa Mitchell, my life partner, talking about what we've learned along the way and how we've owned our goals together. And we'll just try and keep bringing you great quality content. So for all of us here at Owning the Goal, which is really just me, Snowflake is my co-producer. Sometimes she'll be brave enough to get on the set. We thank you. Please like, follow, subscribe to the channel. I welcome any and all comments. It helps us keep making the show better. And if you would like to be a guest, we're starting to get a nice influx of people wanting to be on the show and share their experiences. Please, Brian at owningthegoal.com. You can go to our website, owningthegoal.com, and let us know when you're available, and we'll set up a pre-call and we'll get you on the show. Until next time, just give a little bit of your love to me, as Supertramp and all those wonderful bands said. Thank you so much again. And wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope the rest of your day, evening, morning, whatever they are, just continue to allow you to give to others. Thanks again.